Hi, I'm J. Rachel Edidin.
And I'm Miles Stokes.
And we're the hosts of Rachel and Miles Explain the X-Men, a weekly podcast all about the ins, the outs, and the retcons of our very favorite superhero soap opera.
We're also the hosts of Rachel and Miles Review the X-Men,
which you're watching right now,
where we talk about the X books that come out each week.
This week we're talking about the books, or rather the book, of February 17th, 2016, and I guess also possibly a recognizable movie that opened last week.
So let's dive into Extraordinary X-Men number 7, written by Jeff Lemire with art by Victor Ibanez, colors by J. David Ramos. So this is the sort of second part of the Weird World story. Weird World is hard to say. Do you know that? It totally is.
It really is, yeah.
But it's the second part of that story.
The Weird World story?
Show off. And I don't even know that I would call it a Weird World story, because
it's really not. Weird World is sort of pointless. It's I would say window dressing, but it's not really even that.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because having read the Secret Wars Weird World miniseries, which was awesome, you can do a lot with the setting, and you can show, just the X-Men reacting to all the very strange things, and we don't get to see much of that. And nor, unfortunately, do we get to see much of Nightcrawler's Mindscape, where Storm and Marvel Girl spend much of their time.
Yeah, we see a few intriguing details, but there's no real coherent connection. It doesn't feel like a story.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, because the previous issue, which sort of seemed to be the start of Extraordinary X-Men proper, once they decided that they did, in fact, want to be superheroes, there was a lot of promise there, and unfortunately, I don't think that really carries through to this issue. Character motivations feel a little weird, character interactions. So, for instance, Storm comes off kind of like an amateur when in Nightcrawler's Mindscape. And as someone who's read a great deal of X-Men, Storm's hung out with a lot of telepaths. She spent some time in Mindscape. She should really be pretty much okay with this. Similarly, when we find out what really did traumatize Nightcrawler, remember we saw him all messed up in the first issue of Extraordinary X-Men and onward, it seems like something that Kurt would certainly be extraordinarily disturbed by, but not rendered near catatonic by.
Yeah, on the scale of, horrors that X-Men come face-to-face with, that's a substantial one, but I really wouldn't even put it like top 5.
Yeah, I guess the Sinister meddling could have had something to do with it, but still, it just felt a little
He's had a rough
inconsistent. Week. Yeah. Now, I will say the art in this book, Victor Ibanez, of course, we really enjoyed in his run on The Storm ongoing.
And man, I like him so much here. I like his jeans so much.
Yeah, she looks like a real teenager.
She does, and she looks interesting. Like she's got a face and facial features that are distinctive beyond pretty.
Yeah, I would expect her to look exactly like Hope Summers, but she actually doesn't. She looks unique. Some of the character redesigns too. The more I see what's up with Nightcrawler, the more I enjoy his new design with, like, the scale mail and the beard and stuff. I mean, he was basically serving, as near as we can tell, as, like, Germany's mutant protector. And if he's flying solo, yeah, get some armor. Do it. Yeah,
well, I mean, I like the sort of romantic knight thing that he seemed to be going for. Obviously, it's very much at odds with the actual characterization at this point, but the basic premise, I think, is sound and in line with the character. Colossus's beard remains a high point.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Really, really solid.
And speaking as well of character redesigns, or at least costume redesigns, Jean's sort of more Marvel Girl-esque yellow and green.
I thought it was weak.
I'm okay with it, though, because when you think about it, the character, had she remained in her original timeline, would have switched over to the green and yellow pretty soon anyway, so...
My complaints about this costume are all really nitpicky design complaints. There are things like that it's got a lot of strong components, but the lines interact very badly. And I mean, honestly, this is just me going all Project Rooftop on it. So
I just wear flannel.
I like the colors are nice, the green and yellow. I have consistently liked the green and gold. So.
Yeah. So the issue is, it's fine. I don't mean to say that it's a bad issue by any means, because it's not. But it's not as engaging as I feel like it could have been. Now, we are jumping right into the Apocalypse Wars storyline, which apparently is going to involve some time travel and Apocalypse himself. That could be really cool. I'd like to see the team all in one place, bouncing off of each other, bouncing off of a weird environment. I really hope that's good. There's a lot of promise there, so it could be.
It's worth noting, I think, that 7 issues into this book, we have not yet had an issue that didn't reference the Noodle incident, but we still don't know what it was!
In my notes at one point, I believe when they were teasing the Cyclops thing, like what he really did, I think I wrote in all caps, "Just tell us already!" which is kind of how I'm feeling.
At this point, I'm so entertained by how it's being strung along that I hope they never actually reveal it.
Just never.
Yeah, like they missed the window of the revelation meaning anything, and so now I just want it to be a running gag.
Maybe put in, like, additional little hints every few issues, which start to really contradict each other and don't make any sense.
Exactly. Again, Noodle incident.
Perfect. So anyway, new story next time. Eager to see where that goes.
So, you have been asking a whole lot, what we thought of the Deadpool movie. We finally went to see it tonight.
Like, right before we recorded this.
Right before this.
Saw it, had dinner, and then recorded.
Dinner was really good.
Dinner was good.
I would give that pizza solid, like 8 out of 10.
Blind Onion Pizza, really good issue this week, it's true.
Right. So anyway, yeah, the Deadpool movie is delightful. It is super charming. My favorite part was the qualitative statement that Deadpool is not an X-Man.
Yes.
I really appreciated that.
Even more canonical now.
He's outside our damn scope of coverage, okay? Clear? Good. All right. What is within our scope of coverage is X-Men, who also appear in this movie, which was great.
Yeah.
And charming and entertaining and spectacularly lampshaded. Colossus is... Yeah, I've been hearing two things about Colossus, which are either he's delightful and he's terrible. I am in camp delightful. He is a cartoonish, exaggerated version of himself because it's a Deadpool movie, and so of course he is, and he's a cartoonish, exaggerated version of things about that character that I really enjoy. So,
and that's the thing. I think I would have been annoyed had it been Colossus mischaracterized, and instead it's Colossus just sort of exaggeratedly characterized, but he still feels like Colossus. He still feels like Piotr Rasputin.
I really kind of wanted him to like politely ride off to the sunset with Angel Dust.
Angel Dust was pretty awesome.
I thought that would have been I thought they would have been good together. The other X-Man who appears is Negasonic Teenage Warhead. She is a character whose name appears in the comic, and I'm saying her name because this version of the character is specific to the movie. The original Negasonic Teenage Warhead shows up for I think something like 2 pages in Grant Morrison's run, mostly to have an unpleasant premonition and then immediately die. And comes back later during Joss Whedon's run as a hallucination. The only thing they really have in common is name and palette.
True. Gothity, either way.
Yeah, I enjoy that this version is basically me at 16. That was a plus.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead, I gotta say, for me, totally stole the show. And I think that's a great way to do it. I mean, if you're gonna have a movie as tonally different from X-Men as Deadpool and still incorporate X-Men stuff, make something new that would fit conceptually into the X-Men, but fits thematically into Deadpool. They did that with Negasonic Teenage Warhead. They made her incredibly entertaining and a character I was rooting for the whole time.
Well, and the great thing is because she's just so utterly a walk-on in the comic. I don't think she's really anyone's favorite character. Like, I don't think there's anyone who's really going to get upset because they bastardized the version of her, which is good because, honestly, adaptations are nice, and it's really cool when they take things and change them and make them work better in the new medium and story.
So, yeah, I mean, Deadpool, the sense, what you're getting into with Deadpool. It's going to be horrifyingly violent. It's going to have a kind of juvenile sense of humor.
Oh, we should add, if you've been seeing this online all week, but don't bring your children to see this
for the love of God.
At least until you've seen it yourself and can gauge, whether or not it's appropriate for them. This is not a kid-friendly movie as a default. It is really not. And we are people who think the Dark Phoenix Saga is okay to give to your 6-year-old. So
yes, which it totally is.
That should tell you something. Read it with them.
Yes. But yeah, as somebody who doesn't particularly connect with the Deadpool character at all, I really enjoyed it, It wasn't, the humor wasn't mean like the comic has at times been.
Yeah, it was generally like a really strikingly sincere movie.
Right.
Which I appreciated. Honestly, though, that was kind of what I was expecting because my perspective on Deadpool is largely informed by Tina, who is all about that aspect of the character.
Our administratrix, Tina, is a big Deadpool fan. Yeah. So I would say see it. It does decently well by X-Men in the small ways it overlaps. It's a pretty fun, I don't know about superhero movie exactly, but it's a fun
send-up of a lot of the standards of superhero movies. It is, again, comics Deadpool is pretty far outside of my bailiwick, but it's true to the versions of him that I've seen at least since the Kelly run. And yeah, it was genuinely really enjoyable.
Yeah, and also congratulations to Ryan Reynolds on finally being in a comic book movie that's actually pretty decent. Good work, dude.
Oh, they made fun of the Origins version of Deadpool.
Yes, they did.
That was good. I really liked that. That made me happy.
So, yeah, pretty good. All right, that's it for reviews.
So, Miles, what is our issue of the week?
Well, Extraordinary X-Men number 7 was just sort of okay.
Yeah, I don't feel good about giving that issue of the week. I don't care if it was the only one.
Yeah, and Deadpool was fun, but it's not even remotely a comic, so
Well, we give that award to non-comics all the time.
Well, I'm actually going to give it to pizza tonight because that was really good pizza.
Really good pizza.
Everything still tastes like garlic even after I brush my teeth, but I'm pretty okay with that.
It was worth it. It earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like in terms of the general quality of my life, the pizza did more for me than Deadpool. Like, I enjoyed Deadpool, but the pizza, yeah. I mean, food is good for you.
Okay, what's our favorite panel or topic?
Panel. We've got a favorite panel, actually. Our favorite panel is a brief vignette from Nightcrawler's Mindscape, largely because this is a bleak, kind of generally miserable slog of an issue, and I really dug seeing upside-down swashbuckler Nightcrawler, even briefly. Always.
So there you have it. Thanks for watching.
If you like what you've seen here, check out our podcast, Rachel and Miles Explain the X-Men. New episodes go up every Sunday at rachelandmiles.com, also on iTunes and Stitcher. What have we got for them this week?
Right now, we have some slightly less X than usual stuff for you. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of Captain Britain, focusing mainly on Alan Moore's amazing run from the early 80s. This is the stuff that's going to lay the groundwork for Excalibur, and it's also just really, really good and weird.
That podcast, these video reviews, and everything at rachelandmiles.com are brought to you entirely ad-free. That happens entirely as a result of our rad Patreon subscribers who make all of this possible. If you would like to join their august ranks, which you can do that at the link either above or below this video, depending on where you're watching it.
Yes, indeed. In the meantime, we will see you next week with fewer movies, but more comics. Maybe more comics. Or maybe the same comics. There will be comics. Hi, viewers. Is that a fourth wall? That's just your screen.
That is not the fourth wall, because there is no pretense of a fictional narrative happening here.
Even though we're fictional characters in X-Men 92?
Yeah, but they don't talk to the camera.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Maybe they should.
They're dead.